All right. Thank you all for tuning in to the Fireside Chat with CMass and Gabe. My name is Gabe.
I'm CMass.
And today we got Holly Daughtery with us. So,
Holly,
Yes.
would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. So yeah, like they said, my name is Holly Daughtery, and I'm the coordinator of student involvement here at LC State. So that has a lot of meaning behind it once you dig into it.
What's all in there? What entails that?
What entails that? So I help manage over 50 clubs and organizations here on campus. I'm the advisor for the Warrior Entertainment Board, the advisor for ASLCSC, and I also help coordinate some of the programming that comes out of the Center for Student Leadership. So lots of different pieces.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That's just a chunk of it. If I'm being honest, that's just a chunk.
Well, what's your favorite part? Is it us?
I don't know if I can answer that. I'm in a very small, confined space with two of you from ASLCSC.
So, yes.
So, yes, ASLCSC.
That's what I like to hear.
Don't tell Webb.
No, I want to make a mention that we are very grateful for the services that you have provided to our school. Whenever I first got elected president, and I've told you this many times in our meetings, like, the pandemic just hit unexpectedly. Like, none of us had any idea that the world was just going to change. And so whenever, we won, the first thing that comes to mind is, well, what now? There's a pandemic. This is going to undoubtedly affect the way that our school functions and the way that student government normally carries out its responsibilities. And so I was over that break, I was just like, oh my goodness, like, what are we going to do? And when I got here, I just got to say, Holly, that you helped pull us together, and I just want to say I'm so proud of the things that we've done this year, because
You guys have done a lot, and you did middle of your election season. You guys literally, the world shut down, like right in the middle of our election. We had to do elections fully online, like everything, like you said. Yeah, it totally it flipped 180. And I wasn't sure what we were coming back to. And I think you guys have done awesome things for what we've been given and what we've been able to accomplish.
Now, Holly.
Yes.
Word on the street is you're pregnant.
Oh, yes.
When is the baby due?
January 26th is the prediction date.
wow,
So that's probably a little scary for you right now then.
Yeah, it's about 6 weeks out.
Ooh.
that's crazy.
And you are still
my
here.
Goodness.
I am still here, and I will be here hopefully until the Friday, so the first Friday of spring semester, but we'll see.
Wow.
Is it a little nerve-wracking to be having a baby during this time?
Yes. So first baby, you get to tour the hospital, you get to go to classes, you get to learn, you get to meet people. This baby, I had a phone call yesterday, and they told me, hey, the day it happens, just come in the front door of the hospital and we'll get you directed after we shove a giant Q-tip up your nose.
Oh,
Great. This sounds super fun. So I've never even set foot in this hospital.
So you have to get a COVID test on the spot.
Yes, while in labor.
Oh, that's terrible.
my God. I think that
I actually
If
get
there's-
2.
You get two?
I get a quick response and a send-out test. So yes, I get 2.
Oh my gosh.
I gotta say that sounds very distressing. However, when this child grows up to be a young adult,
An ASLCSC representative.
that's right, whenever they fill our shoes, you get to tell them the pain that you went through. So anytime that they mess up, you just say, do you know what I did for you?
I got Q-tips up my nose.
I got 2 Q-tips up my nose while in labor. Yeah, no, it's definitely a totally new experience. I have no clue what to expect. So
So my brother didn't have a baby. His girlfriend had a baby, and I don't know if it's still this way at the hospitals, but only one person's allowed in at a time. That's terrible, because I remember he had to sit outside the whole time because she wanted her mom in there instead.
Oh no.
So he was sitting in the waiting room and then just walking around the park for like 2 days, and I would come and see him every day and because it was in Lewiston. I don't know if you have to do anything like that, but
yeah, it's only one person still. And we have, Jameson's 4, and we don't really have anyone to maybe watch him if people that we plan to watch him get sick. So we've kind of been, I asked the nurse yesterday when I was talking to her, I said, what do we do? And she was like, well, I don't know, have another backup plan. And I was like, I literally, okay. But then she offered up her 15-year-old daughter I've never met to babysit my kid. So
that's a little.
There's that.
That's better than nothing, but I don't know if it's great. Just have us do it.
Right? Yeah. We can take Jameson to work with us.
It'll be great.
We'll set up a chair for him in the office and make sure we're socially distanced, of course, and we'll teach him how to become the next president and vice president.
He's getting pretty good at writing his name. So.
I know, I got the picture. That actually was his writing and not yours, but it was very nice.
So let's provide our audience a little backstory with this picture. So I'll let CMAS tell it, because his heart was the one that was touched by this.
So, not to give too many details, but we were in a committee meeting, and it was over Zoom. And Jameson, Holly's son, kept interjecting about a pumpkin. He was trying to learn how to draw a pumpkin from Holly, and Holly tried to show him. And I think the drawing actually got drawn later, or is it like during the meeting? I'm not sure.
It was a little bit during the meeting. He at least got the shape during the meeting, but...
In any case, I demanded to see the picture, and they didn't give it to me. So, I gave up on it, and then one day I came into my office, and it's sitting on my keyboard, and now it's my wallpaper, and it's hanging on the wall. It's written on orange cardboard, not cardboard paper. What's that paper called?
Construction paper? Or?
Construction paper, isn't it? And it's made with, it looks like Crayola markers. It's very nice.
Yes, and they were smelly markers, so if that helps anything.
I did not smell it, but I will do that later.
But no, it's so honestly, for anyone who's had to do this, and you guys fortunately haven't had to, and hopefully maybe never will have to, working from home with a 4-year-old has been the most interesting thing I've ever had to do. So he has been on Zoom calls with President Pemberton. Wow. He has been in Zoom calls with Andy Hansen. He has been typing emails with me. Like, it's just, you do what you have to do. And if it's drawing a pumpkin in the middle of a Zoom call, then you try to make it work.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, as long as you got someone to help you, I guess.
Right.
I need to teach him how to take minutes. It'd be a lot more useful.
Oh, man. That's, it sounds like he is getting set up for success, if I've ever heard a success story before. Because, at 4 years old, having meetings with the president, that's a big deal.
It is. I didn't even get one. I don't think I still have one of those at all. That's crazy, actually, now I think about it. I've seen Andy hundreds of times, but I don't think I've ever had a one-on-one with Pemberton or ever sat in a meeting with Pemberton.
Well, maybe we can get her as a guest on our show.
I would love that. So, not to bore with the politics, Holly, I want to know, your past has been shrouded in mystery for me, and I would like to know a little bit about your past. Where are you from?
Where am I from? I am born and raised in a place called Grand Junction, Colorado, which is weirdly like you just take Lewiston really far south. So it's literally on the confluence of 2 rivers. It's about 30 minutes from a state line. It's very much like Idaho and very much like Lewiston. But yep, Grand Junction, Colorado.
I think I might have been there before. Is it kind of by Pagosa Springs. Is it anywhere near there?
Not really, no, but it's near kind of Moab, Utah. Like if you're going
okay.
to the Red Rock areas.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Wow. Okay. There's a very good chance I've been there before.
Yeah, I mean, people even in the state of Colorado don't know where it is. When I was in college, they'd be like, "Where's that?" And I was like, "If you have driven to California, you probably stopped for gas. Like, that's where it's at." So
I live in a town like that, the gas station town.
Yep.
You have to go if you want to go to Missoula. You have to go through where I'm from, but you don't have to go into like anywhere into it. Just the gas station. So you just go through past the grocery store, the gas station, and the pizza factory, and then it's already gone.
Yep.
At least you got a pizza factory.
The best pizza factory in the area, in my opinion.
Come to St. Mary's and we'll show you a thing or two.
I don't know about all that.
Now, Holly.
Don't know what either of you just said. So.
Pizza for days.
Pizza. Have you never heard of a pizza factory?
No.
Are you serious?
I'm from Colorado.
I mean,
We just covered this.
well, have you been to Orofino? Or
I've been to Orofino. We have not done much in Orofino, but I've been to Orofino.
they have a pizza factory. Next time you make it to Grangeville or Orofino, or better yet, Cami
Or St. Mary's.
or St. Mary's, then you should really check out Pizza Factory if you like pizza. I mean, it's a lot different than like a Domino's pizza, but
It hits you right in the heart, to say the least. Now we're getting sidetracked with the pizza talk. Holly, I wanna hear, what was life like growing up in Grand Junction, Colorado?
Oh, goodness. I usually tell people between the age of 12 and 21 there's nothing to do. So there's not much going on if you're in that age range. But I mean, I was an only child, so my parents were always sending me to like summer camps and getting involved in campus or classes or Girl Scouts or what have you. So I was busy all the time, but there was literally nothing to do. And then by the time I was in middle school, they had closed the roller rink.
Wow.
So yeah, it was pretty mellow, but
that's funny. They did the exact same thing here in Lewiston. They closed that. That's weird.
That's what I said. And then, so funny fact. So the other day I was looking at a state map of Colorado, and the county map of Mesa County, which is where Grand Junction is, if you flip it 90 degrees to the left, it's the state of Idaho. Like, it's exactly the same shape. And I'm like, this is just getting creepier and creepier.
This is destiny.
I know. It's
I'm going to need to see this later.
So, but yeah, I just looked at it and I was like, wow, the signs have been there ever since I was born.
Wow. And how funny is it that it's almost analogous that you say you were always very busy, but there was nothing to do. Things are getting shut down. Look where we're at now.
I know.
You're very busy. There's nothing to do.
and
And things are getting shut down.
Yup. It's faith. Fate.
You know, I tell you what, I think that with experiences of like, I guess I want to say like boredom, you really find your creative side. And I think that goes a long way. And clearly it's shown that the skills that you've built from your experiences in Grand Junction are carrying over to help make CMAS and I's jobs a lot easier.
It's true. That's why I'm real nervous about just Tate. No, I'm just kidding. He'll hear this later and he'll be upset at me, but it's just a joke, Tate, please. So what did you do after Grand Junction?
So after Grand Junction, so I'll tell you some more about Grand Junction. So I went to college in Greeley, Colorado, which, again, kind of smaller town, much bigger school. But I went there and, again, got silly involved in campus. I was in like 8 different organizations on campus and had on-campus jobs, did all of that. And that's how I knew I wanted to work in higher ed in the long run. And then got a job on campus right after graduation and the Alumni Association, literally answering phones, and I hated it. I hated just sitting there answering phones because I was just like a button monkey is what I called it. I would just hit a button and be like, hello, button, hello. And I hated it. So I moved home to Grand Junction and I worked in a coffee shop for 7 years trying to get back into higher education. So there is a story for Grand Junction that if you are born there and you ever try to leave, it's cursed. So there's supposedly a Ute curse on the valley of the Grand Valley. And you have to take dirt from 4 different locations around the valley. So there's the Monument, the Mesa, Mount Garfield, and then the riverbank. And so if you don't take this dirt, you're always destined to come back to Grand Junction. So when we moved here to Idaho, in our house right now, we got a jar of dirt from all 4 places. So hopefully we don't get sucked back to it, but we'll see what happens.
Wow. So you have no desire to go back, is what I'm hearing.
I mean, we'd be open to it because family and stuff is there, of course. But we're trying to do some new things. But both of us were born and raised there, and so we're like, okay, let's see if we can do this curse thing and get rid of it somehow.
Wow. That is beautiful and frightening at the same time.
My town has something just like that, except there's no getting out. So if you're still there between like the ages of 19 and like 25, then you're just not leaving at all, and that's just how it goes.
Man,
I mean, that's cool. I never heard of that before, collecting dirt to cure curses.
Supposedly that's what does it, but we'll see, I guess. So.
Wow. Well, you know, I think that everybody's got to branch out, at least at some point in their life, from where they're from. I think that like we're talking about small towns and not getting out. I grew up in a big city, but when I moved to Idaho, in St. Mary's, the people who live there, most of them were born and raised and still live there in their old age, and they are fantastic people. I love most of them, but you know, it's hard, and even they've communicated to me. It's like, you know, it's hard to be stuck kind of in one setting and not be able to get the cultural influences that you can from other places that you can go, as well as sharing the cultural influences of where you're from to other places. Okay. And so I love that story about the dirt, because I feel like that's a great little what is it? Would it be a tradition or
I would say it's a tradition. I mean, it's your dirt story, so...
dirt story, wow.
I mean, I actually considered at one point, like, doing, like, a small business where we sold, like, little tiny vials of all the dirt to the people that were, like you said, like, 18 years old. They're like, I want to go somewhere else, and I don't want to come back.
That is a genius idea. You just go around in a traveling wagon and just... Yeah. Do you want to leave Grand Junction?
Not without this vial of dirt.
You need dirt to do it.
Wow.
So here's a question for you, Gabe. So you went big city to small town.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people go the opposite direction. They want to leave the little town and go to the big city.
Oh.
But how was that experience? Because you go from a really diverse environment to, like you were saying, a little bit secluded.
You know, it is an absolute culture shock. When I moved from Austin to St. Mary's, like, I just couldn't even believe how crazy it was that there was not even, like, a stoplight in the town. Like, I've probably spent, like, over a year of my life sitting in traffic. And so, like, being in a place where, like, there is no traffic, at first I'm just like, oh, this is amazing. And, you know, it's really cool and unique in that way, but it's also like, I think back to, like, the stuff I did in Austin and how much stuff there is. Like, you know, there's just something for everything. Like y'all were saying how, like, the roller rink got shut down and stuff. Like, in St. Mary's, all we had was the bowling alley when we were in high school. That was it, and there was nothing else to do besides that. And so they shut that down actually just recently, and I'm wondering, like, dang, what are the kids doing now? Like, it really amazed me though, like, because that was our only option, really, was the bowling alley. It amazed me that, like, the things that people would do to have fun, like, because you know, like where I come from, like we could just go to like say pinballs or something like that, or like there's arcades, Austin Park and Pizza. You can go to San Antonio and go to Six Flags or SeaWorld. Like there's all this stuff to do. But like St. Mary's, it was like you could go to the bowling alley, but that got kind of old after a while, and I'm not a very good bowler. So what I learned was that people take advantage of the great outdoors and the lack of, you know, city environment where, man, I tell you, I was so blessed to get to meet some of the people I did and get to go like out in just the great wild, you know, and see like some of the most beautiful untouched land. And to me, that was something that I never got to experience growing up. Like everything that was like natural, quote unquote, in the big city was, you know, it was like engineered by like a Parks and Rec department or something like that, or like you'd have to drive literally an hour and a half to get to like anything natural, you know. And so I really liked that I got the chance to experience the other side of like not having anything to do. So now you got to find something to do. Sure. So yeah, that's kind of.
I've gone to a few cities in my time, like bigger than these ones, obviously. I've been to Lewiston a time or two. No, but I've been around, and I absolutely despise the city everywhere. Like, no matter where I go, I'm like, wow, this is the worst experience of my life. I went to Washington, D.C. I think that was the last place I went a year and a little bit ago, and it was just terrible. The only thing that was cool was the founding fathers stuff, all that stuff. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I got left from my group on, like, I had to take a different subway because everyone just left me. I was like, oh, okay. And It was scary. I thought I was done for. And I went to, I'm trying to think there was another place I really didn't like. Actually, you know what? I did like Denver. I'm sure you've been to Denver.
Yes.
I did like Denver quite a bit.
Denver's pretty cool. So Denver was kind of like the biggest city that I had been to for quite some time. And like 10 years ago, like 2010, we flew out to California for a wedding. And I remember getting in the car and we got on the interstate and I literally just laid my seat down because I could not be in 8 lanes of traffic going as fast as you go to as stopping as you go. And I was just like, nope, I can't do this right now. So
Where at in California?
It was literally LA.
Oh,
like
man.
We flew into LA and then drove down to Orange County.
LA is insane. I've been there twice, and it's like Austin's a big city, but like LA, I just like, what is going on, you know? But honestly, I know that traffic's bad there, but like at least they have 8 lanes. Like the highway system in Austin is so bad. It's so bad. Like there's literally traffic all the time. All the time. You're just bumper to bumper. And like you were saying, like put your seat down. That, like it's funny actually. My dad's a painter, and he lives in Austin, and he made this painting for me. And it's like it's literally a scene of the most beautiful sky you'll ever see, but underneath it, just like a very tiny glimpse of it, is a very common scene that him and I had, where we're caught in traffic on 183. And like, I just think that that in itself, like the city experience of being caught in traffic and like just looking to your left and right and seeing people in their cars, just they look so PO'd. Like it's crazy. Like when you get that many people crowded together, like it is scary how people can act sometimes. But if you realize that and just take a look up at that beautiful sky, you know, it can make for a very profound experience, give you some perspective, especially whenever you get the chance to see, you know, beautiful nature. And like I think here in Lewiston, you know, like a lot of people will say like, oh, the hills, like they're ugly. I'm like, dude, these hills are beautiful, man. They're massive, and like the Snake River just runs along it, and it's like, it's so pretty, you know.
Speaking of art, all right, I'm Holly.
Uh-oh.
I saw your Halloween costume, and that is not normal. There's no way that you could have made that without a lot of artistic experience. She was Mother Earth, and it was insanely good compared to Skylar. That's where he was just Robin, I think.
Yep.
And Jameson is Batman, and you were Mother Earth. And I was
the trifecta.
I just wore a Taco Time outfit, and he was a taco. You did not look like everyone else. How did you learn to do that?
Growing up in a small town and having nothing to do. No. So, few different tracks, I guess. I've kind of always been that person. I think since I was at least in 5th grade, I always wanted to adjust my Halloween costume somehow. So, like, my mom got me a Belle costume when I was in, like, 3rd grade, and I was like, heck no, I don't want to be Belle. I want to be a saloon girl. And so I took the same costume, and I revamped it, and we made it into something different. So I've always kind of had those things to do, to be creative, to just kind of extend and stuff. What's funny is that costume took me maybe an hour tops.
Are you kidding?
No.
To get my costume got me like 2 hours of work.
No, that was probably one of my easiest ones, if I'm being honest. It was a sheet that I wrapped around, and I puffy painted a globe on a t-shirt. So I was, at one point, if you want to know some more background, I was in a fire spinning circus.
Whoa.
And with that, we made all of our own costumes usually. So some really intricate costumes, usually to a theme, those types of stuff. And I never have done any of the big stuff. So I've never done Comic-Con or any of that, but I've always challenged myself to do big costumes, big things like that. So we did Alice in Wonderland, the Tim Burton version, one year, and I made the dress from scratch. I made Skylar's outfits from parts and pieces from scratch in the thrift stores and things like that. And we actually went in and we won a contest. And
Whoa.
So, I mean,
Dang. Congratulations.
I do all sorts of crazy things, and it's just something I like to do. And I don't get to do nearly as much now because I don't have the space to do it. And if I get any of my stuff out, Jameson tears it all apart. So, yeah, so that one, the one this year was like a 30-minute, hour-long type of a thing that I just threw together. And I was like, oh, here's some white sheets and some stuff and some safety pins, and let's go. So.
That's impressive.
So, wait, how did you get involved in the circus? How did you hear about this? You don't just join the circus one day.
You kind of do, actually. So I was in marching band for 8 years, high school and college, and I did color guard. So I did spinning flags and the rifles and all of that.
Whoa.
And I went to a show, I think it was around Halloween, and there was a group of people out in the street, and they were spinning fire, and they're known as a Luma Circ. And I was watching them, and I'm like, I know how to do all those moves. I've just never lit whatever I've spun on fire. Like, I know what they're doing. I know how to do it. So I literally just that night or that next day, I went back and I emailed the person that had kind of like been the MC of the group, and I said, hey, I want to join. Like, I know what you're doing. I think I can figure it out. I've never done it with fire, but I'm willing to learn. And she said, okay, but you have to come to belly dance class.
Whoa.
And I went, seriously? Like, I had always avoided belly dance. I didn't want to be a belly dancer. And so I was like, fine, if I really have to do belly dance to join the fire circus, I will become a belly dancer. So went to belly dance class, went to it for probably like 3 or 4 practices. And then they're like, hey, we're going to do a fire show. And I was like, okay, let's do this. And presto changeo, I was in a fire circus.
Wow.
Wow.
That's crazy. Did you get to travel anywhere really cool?
So we actually, I don't know if it was really cool, but we got to participate in Colorado's Got Talent. It's like
I think that's really cool.
That is.
the state version of America's Got Talent. And so we did a couple videos because we couldn't travel and do fire at some of the venues. And we got selected to go on to like the finals, basically. So as a troupe, we traveled and we performed live, and we won. And what we should have been able to do, and I think we would have if it wasn't just such a huge time commitment to do, we actually won like a pass to America's Got Talent.
Wow.
But to do that, and if you get selected, I don't know if you guys ever know this, but if you get selected to do like America's Got Talent, you take like 3 to 6 months off of your life to like film the show and do all of their filming and their different events. So we ended up choosing not to, as a troupe, like continue on with it, because we just couldn't do that. People couldn't give up their jobs and whatnot. So but yeah, so that was kind of one of our really big ones that we did. And
that is wild.
I'm glad.
From belly dancer to circus. There we go. That's how you get there.
What a story.
I'm glad I don't have any talents, because I don't have the time to take off for that.
You know, I'd do anything for belly dancing.
What?
No, actually, it's funny. When I was a kid, I used to be able to do this weird thing with my tummy, where I could like roll it, kind of. And
it's called a belly roll.
Yes, yeah. And I was a champion at it, but I got made fun of for it. And
Dang.
So, to this day, my belly has not rolled.
It's
for
hard
decades.
to learn. Like, the people who can just naturally do it, like Jameson can do it, and I'm like,
Right? Yeah, that's a lot of neurological, fine and gross motor skills combined to. Yeah, I can't do it anymore. But you know, maybe if I get more of my beer belly starts getting a little more profound, then we can make it happen. But yeah, that's impressive. That is wild. I never knew this rich past, Holly.
I know, and I mean, if we really wanted to delve into it, it goes really deep. So.
Oh, please do tell.
I always imagined you as a theater person, so I was surprised when you said circus instead.
No, not theater. The only time I ever really helped with theater was I did girls' hair for one of the shows, but it was never in theater. I grew up literally from age 5 reenacting the fur trade era.
Wow.
So the 1860s. And my dad, and this is probably where some of my like costuming pieces come together, he is to the book. Like, if it doesn't look like it walked out of the 1860s, he won't use it.
Wow.
He researches it, he finds it, he makes it. And so I kind of have some of that in me, where it has to be super detailed. It has to look just the part, or else I don't like it. It freaks me out. So Some of that comes from, I think, just the way my dad raised me. But yeah, so I can shoot a playing card in half with a muzzleloader. I can throw a knife and tomahawk.
Wait.
I can do all sorts of fun things.
Wow.
Wait, like, from what distance with a muzzleloader?
For the playing card, it's usually, because you got to be able to kind of at least see it. So it's sitting on its side, so it's perpendicular to you. It's probably about 10 yards off or so.
Okay.
So
I mean,
that's insane.
That's reasonable. I think that's cool, though. I mean, I'm a good aim, but I'm not good with muzzleloader at all.
They used to do trick shots, and there was one where I remember you had to put the gun on your shoulder, and you had to aim it with a mirror, and you had to put it, because just the way it worked, I ended up getting like powder burns into my neck and stuff because of it.
Yeah, that sounds very dangerous.
But yeah, you had to hold it, and it was like a trick shot where you lined it up with a mirror and stuff. So
wait, like, so you did all kinds of stuff like that? Do you have any other cool stuff like that? I'd like to know.
I would say, I mean, I did that. I can literally start a fire with flint and steel, so
Whoa.
I refuse to use
Minecraft.
I refuse to do lighters. Like, if we go camping, I bring my flint and steel kit and stuff. So.
I can do that too, but it's been a while. I don't know if I could still do it. It's been a long time.
Yeah, so no, that's just how I grew up. I grew up in a really weird setup, I guess you could say. So
that is, I mean, I don't think it's weird. I think it's cool.
Yeah, it sounds like you got it down to an art. You know, that's the beauty of it to me. There's when there's passion in it. You know, you're out here trapping fur and stuff, and that is cool. Like,
I didn't have to do too much of that. Like, I can set a trap, but I didn't have to do too much of that.
Wow.
But
So, what would you consider that to be your passion? Is that a passion for you? What is your passion?
What is my passion? That's a great question. I don't really honestly know. If I could be a passion, like creating stuff. So creating those costumes, creating stuff like that, definitely. I've told Skylar, if COVID keeps happening and the apocalypse comes, like, we're covered. Like, I got this figured out. We're gonna be good. So I like creating. I like making stuff with my hands. I like being really creative like that. So I guess that would be my best passion. But
That's a good
I have
passion.
such a varied extent of things I have done. I don't know really what you want to count.
I mean, it sounds like you have a passion for life, maybe. I mean, you're living it to the fullest.
I do all sorts of stuff. And so when we moved up here, so my dad, of course, he came to visit. And this is, Lewis and Clark's trail comes right through here. So he geeked out
of course.
for a very long time. And there's actually some of the staff here on campus I've learned since then. They also, they do the reenactment of the fur trader and stuff. And so I haven't had a chance to find a group here in town, but I'm just like, I'm not the only weird person that grew up
Next
that way.
ASLCSC event, the fur trapping.
So my dad, when I was like, I do student events, he was like, you should do like a mountain man run across campus. And I'm like, I don't know if they would let me do that, but we can find out.
That would be a little rough. It goes a long way.
So explain I'm unaware of what a mountain man run is. Can you explain to me what this is?
So, yes. So Mountain Man Run is usually a competition. So annually, mountain men from all over the nation would get together at a rendezvous. And it would be a time to trade and bring in their furs and their goods and stuff like that, and meet up with their companies. And a lot of times it turned into contests. So it would turn into shooting contests and writing contests and stuff like that. So as part of kind of what we do for our reenactments is kind of like an obstacle course. So we'd set up 10 or 12 different stations. And so the first one would be you got your gun, you got all your pouch, you got all your stuff, and you would walk up and you'd have to throw a knife and hock. And so you'd throw it until you stuck it. So if it took you 10 tries to stick it, you were standing there 10 times until it stuck.
Wow.
The second you stuck it, you picked up your gun and you went running to the next stop. And that might be a shot. So you might have to load up, fire, try to hit it. If you hit it, you got some extra points. If you didn't, you just ran to the next stop. So a couple different things like that. So it's running, different shots in between, and then usually flint and steel fire. And then to kind of finish it off again, you either threw your knife or your hawk again, whatever was there. But different skill things that you would do along the way for those 12 spots. And then so the person who ran it the fastest, hit the most targets, got the most pieces accomplished, would get the most points. Then they'd get an award at the end.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
I would imagine if we had it here, I don't think people would do it because you'd have to travel so far to get here during COVID. Actually, they might just ignore that altogether. Now that I think about it, I don't know.
Man, yeah. Bringing guns to campus.
That's not a good idea.
I was like, we could do rubber band guns. Like you could
potato
do
guns, getting the Idaho spirit. Wow,
So-
that is fascinating. Honestly, I had no idea that you were a mountain woman.
I used to be, yeah.
That is beautiful. I am a city boy, and I always just marvel at like people with outdoor skills because I'm like, I imagine if I just got dumped out in the woods one day, I would die. Without a doubt, I would die. Or I don't know. It would be scary. But I'm lucky that I know a lot of mountain people. So if we do somehow get trapped in the wilderness, I'm going to give you a call, I think.
If you had a phone,
I was
you
going to
wouldn't
say,
be
if you're
stuck.
in the wilderness.
Well, here's the thing, though. We got smoke signals and stuff, and we can make it work.
I think I've been saying this for a long time, but I feel like if I got stuck in the woods for whatever reason, as long as I wasn't gravely injured and it was in a decent time of the year, if I got stuck there in the winter, that no one's gonna make it in the middle
Right.
of winter. But if it was like the end of spring or like halfway through the summer, I think I could live an entire year out there.
Really?
I know that's a big claim, but I mean,
That is a big claim.
around here, not like somewhere else, because I mean, there's so much food out there. You just had to be able to get it. That's what I think. I don't know. Do you think you could live for a year in the wilderness?
I think I probably could if I had to. I'm that person, and you guys maybe do this, I don't know, but I watch like the Naked and Afraid or like the survival shows, and I sit there and I go, they did that wrong. Oh, that's going to backfire on them. Not saying that I could do it necessarily,
I think you could.
but I watch them and I'm like, oh, they didn't cook that enough, or they shouldn't drink water from that, you know. So I'm that person that from my couch I can sit and judge and think I could do it, but I think one time I made a joke, I think it was actually to Dr. Hansen, something about the squirrels here in town. And I said something about, like, I could just sit in my backyard and take squirrels off the fence and, like, still feed, like, my family if I had to, you know.
That's good home cooking right there, I tell you what.
But.
Yeah, well, okay. You're not gonna like this, but I'm saying, okay, is it a bad idea to drink the creek water? Yes. But if it's all you have and you don't have a way to purify it without like ruining your own clothes or anything like that, like through like a filter system or whatever, I would do it. Like I know you can get Giardia, and I know it'll kill you, but I think the odds of you getting it if you're high enough up, I think are pretty slim. But that's just what I think. Maybe I'll die. Maybe I'll die in the woods. I don't know. But would you drink the creek water?
Not. It depends. I'd have to see the creek specifically. Like, everyone is a little different. But there's, without ruining your clothes, this is gonna sound nerdy. There's things you can filter with. You can filter with sand and rocks and all sorts of fun stuff. So.
Go on. Let's hear one survival strat.
Oh, one survival strat? For water?
For water specifically, because I'm about to drink the creek water.
Okay. Water specifically. So, okay, first couple questions real quick. Do you have the ability to have a fire?
Yes.
Okay, so then what I would do is, if you have the ability to have something to hold your water in, I would probably heat up stones in your fire and drop them directly into your creek water before you drink it. So if you have, say, like a pot or something that you could put some hot things in, not melt it, because that will boil it, and it'll boil it to enough of a temperature that it should kill most of the stuff in it, hopefully, like bacterias or things.
Well, isn't it? I'm sorry if I'm wrong.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so
that's one option. So.
If the creek is running really fast,
yes,
and there's lots of rocks and not a lot of, disgusting in it, then you're in a better shape, right? If it's running through those rocks really fast.
If it's moving, definitely better off than if it's just sitting still. Definitely, yeah.
Okay.
So.
Well, that makes sense.
Not sure if you would want to try it, but you could at least. It's better than drinking from like a lake that doesn't move.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I figure if you're in a pinch, I mean, worst case scenario, you could drink it, but you probably wouldn't want to get too used to drinking it.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there's ones where people will go swim in something, and just swimming in it, they ingest enough of it that it makes them sick. So.
Really?
Yep.
Now that's interesting, all this water talk. Now, being the city boy that I am, I have an interesting perspective on water because I grew up the son of a pool builder and cleaner. And so I have been cleaning swimming pools my whole life. And so the principle to that is that in order for the water to be swimmable, there needs to be filtration and circulation and sanitization. Is that how you say it?
And then you can drink the pool water.
Well, no,
Okay.
Actually, you can swim in the pool water, but I've always been interested. Because when I was cleaning swimming pools, I'm like, this is such a waste of water. Oh my gosh! But man, it's crazy how much circulation plays a role in water being clean. Because whenever you get a pump that shuts down or something in a swimming pool, it will turn green, and I have seen the most disgusting swamps. Like, I mean, like Shrek would not even tiptoe to that. But it's amazing how, like, I'm just wondering, like, is there a way almost that you could purify the water by circulating it yourself somehow? Like, I guess that's probably, you'd have to like set up your own aqueduct or something like that. But like, there's been times whenever like we'll like bring in an auxiliary pump and wire a pipe, or not wire, plumb a pipe down into the water, and then just like have it basically just, you know, shoot back up and forth, and it'll clear up the pool. So I'm wondering, like, if you could engineer your own pump somehow. Now, I know this would be hard in the middle of the woods.
I'll say woods, and then you got to think like microscopic little tiny Gerardia variety.
That is, yeah.
It ain't gonna
bacteria
hurt ya.
and viruses, you know. But
Wow.
those little tiny things, that's the hardest part to get out of there, for sure. But yeah, clearing up algae or pieces like that, probably not too bad.
So, all right, you're not allergic to seafood, are you?
No.
Okay. So, have you tried like freshwater mussels? I'm sure you have.
Yes.
Okay, so I heard a rule, and it's like an old rule. I don't know if it's like official, but if the month ends in the letter R, you're not supposed to eat them, or you are supposed to eat the mussels. But if it doesn't, then you can't. So, like in August and June and July, then you're. Wait. This is important. I need to figure this out if I'm going to go into the wilderness. I think if it ends in R, you're not supposed to have the mussels. Maybe.
I've never heard the rules, so
I think, okay, no.
you'll have to let me know.
So apparently, it has to do. So I know you can eat mussels when they're colder, rather than when they're hotter in the hotter creek water, because it does something to them. I don't quite remember, but I remember we ate a bunch of mussels on a month that didn't end in R. When one time we went camping, I think it was August, so that's what I'm thinking now. And we all got sick the next morning. Not like sick, but like all our stomachs were upset. Like we all like left camp that day because it was like we were dying.
Oh my goodness.
So if you ever get lost in the wilderness and you need to eat the mussels, you need to figure this rule out because I'm not sure.
Don't listen to Caden's rule.
You're right. Bring a calendar with you. That's the most important thing to have in the wilderness.
I think your perception of time probably is the most important thing in the wilderness. Because I mean, after you lose count of the days, that's when you go downhill.
You know, I think that's pretty applicable to our situation with COVID, where we're remote. During like the summer and like right whenever like school was getting out, my sense of time was gone. Like whenever you don't have places to go and things to like do besides being on a screen, like it's amazing how like it just completely shifts your way of being. And like I'm thinking like getting thrown out in the middle of the wilderness. I love nature, like I love the beauty of it, but like that just sounds so insane. Like
I mean, I wouldn't want to do it, but if I was going to do it anyway, I mean, I'd at least like to go in the spring.
Right, yes.
Late spring, big difference. It's too cold early spring. But I don't know. Maybe it's not the best idea for me to go out into the woods.
I'll support you in whatever you do.
Thank you. Naked and afraid.
That's right.
I got to do that.
Yeah, CMAS, tell Holly about your applications.
I apply multiple times a year for Big Brother, Survivor. I haven't applied for Naked and Afraid, but I applied for The Amazing Race for the first time recently.
Nice.
And they won't call me back.
They never do.
No.
They never do.
I want to be on so bad. And I couldn't even apply to Big Brother until I was 21, and I've already applied like twice. So I don't know what to do.
Maybe you should apply for The Bachelor.
Oh,
that would be a problem. I don't think Liz would like that very much. But who knows? Maybe. That's how it starts. I get on The Bachelor, then I go to the next thing. Yeah. But I really like Survivor. That's kind of why I learned to do flint and steel, because I knew that was going to be important later.
Yeah.
But they won't call me, so I can't get on.
Show them your Minecraft world.
I think that might work.
They will be like, yeah, no.
I don't know if you guys watch Survivor or anything like that, but
Oh, when I was a kid, it's funny you say The Amazing Race and Survivor. Like, my mom and dad were just hype about those shows, even though they would not survive in the wilderness. And it's funny, The Amazing Race, actually, we auditioned for The Amazing Race.
Really?
Like, in Austin, they had this thing, and it's hilarious, like, what happened out of this. We waited in line for, like, 4 hours to go to this interview, and it was, like, the family Amazing Race. And we gave our spiel about why we'd be good, and, of course, you know, nothing happened out of that. They didn't take us. But while we were waiting in line, the application thing was at this laser tag place in Austin. And some random person just came up to us while we were waiting. It's like, you guys want to be on TV? I'm like, oh, we won. We're getting on The Amazing Race. They're like, no, we're filming a commercial for this laser tag place. And we're like, oh. But then I was still like, sweet. So my first dip into the limelight, 7 years old, did a blazer tag commercial. I said, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then all the family came together and said, come to blazer tag. And you know what? After that, I say, you know, I'm glad that I didn't get accepted to The Amazing Race, because that probably would have gone miserably. I know, I imagine the way my family operated, we probably would have been the worst team in all of history. But you know what? We made a pretty darn good blazer tag commercial, and
There you go.
I'm proud of that.
the only claim to fame I have is I ran hurdles my senior year, and I made it to state. Barely, but I made it to state.
Hey, that's all it
regardless. And the day before we went to state, my hurdling partner decided it would be funny to swerve into my lane and jump my hurdles,
Oh,
but he didn't warn me.
what?
And he's normally faster than me, but I'd started like catching up to him slowly over time. So he swerved into my lane and hit me. And then he went over my hurdle, and because he hit me, he slowed down, so he nicked my hurdle. And I tripped over my own hurdle that he knocked over, and I broke my ankle.
Oh no. My goodness.
Or I think I broke my foot, not my ankle. That's a big difference. And I still ran at state track. I wrapped it, and I took like 4 ibuprofen, and I was like all hyped up on adrenaline, and I got like, it was on the 110s, thankfully. So I made it like maybe 30 meters okay, and then it was just over. Like, I was like tripping over all the hurdles, like falling, like
That's tragic.
barely making it over. So I'm just that guy that was like, look at that guy, look how slow he is. But I wasn't last because someone got DQ'd.
Hey,
I
there
at
you
least
go.
finished.
wow.
I think I got like 30 seconds, which is like terrible.
That's also not your only claim to fame, though. You're Mr. LC currently.
I totally
That is
forgot
true.
about that.
Yeah.
That's true.
Holly, do you have a claim to fame? And hold on, before we go on, I might be the only Mr. LC for a while, it sounds
This
like.
is true, because, I don't know if we can do another one for a while, but we'll see. I don't know if I have a claim to fame.
You haven't made TV?
She was almost on America's Got Talent.
I
That's
almost
it.
was on America's. Yeah, I was in Colorado's Got Talent. I've been in commercials, but I don't remember what they were. It was when I was younger.
Wow.
I've been in the newspaper and on the front of the newspaper putting flags on graves during like Memorial Day for Girl Scouts and stuff. But
Oh.
Wait, you were a Girl Scout?
I was a Girl Scout.
There's just so much
There's
more. We just
so
keep finding
many
it.
things. Yes, I was a Girl Scout, and I was a Girl Scout clear into high school. And at that point, you just become the nerdy kid sometimes. But
So that means you're a professional on Girl Scout everything then, right? Would you say that?
my troop earned every single tryout or try-it. I think they were called try-its that the brownies could earn at that point. Like, we
Okay.
literally
Wow.
ran the gamut of the try-its. So
Wow.
I don't know if that makes me an expert or
I
not.
think it does.
That's yeah.
So, what is, in your opinion, the best Girl Scout cookie then? Because I bet you've had them all. You've sold them all multiple times.
I am attached to the tagalongs, the peanut butter chocolate ones.
I do like the tagalongs. I despise the Thin Mints. They are
Really?
disgusting. I hate mint candy.
That's a hot take.
It's gross. I hate mint ice cream and mint candy. Mint belongs on my toothbrush and nowhere else. Maybe gum. Also gum.
Thin Mints, I did not like them for a long time. They are only good if they come out of the freezer.
Mm.
They
freezer?
have to be cold.
Oh, dude.
They have to be cold, and then they're okay. But
It's
if they're
so
like
good.
warm, they're good. Yeah.
I have completely shut them out of my life. I didn't realize you could put them in the freezer.
Man,
Oh, yeah.
you gotta put them in the freezer. If you're doing it wrong if you're not.
We have Samoas in the office right now.
I was fixing to say, I was like, I should have been giving thanks to Holly while I
For
was
the
eating
Girl
those.
Scout cookies. Those might be my favorite. I don't know.
They're tasty.
Those are
They're-
my second up. So
There's another one. I don't remember what it's called, but I know it's a popular one.
Lemonade?
Yeah, is that it?
Is it the lemon one?
I think it is.
those came around after I was out of girls. I've eaten them, the like lemon savannas or something.
The ones with like the bottom layer of like that lemon thing.
Yeah, those came around after. So I don't even know if they still do it. When I was in Girl Scouts, you had nut sales. So you would sell like cans of nuts, like peanuts and cashews and stuff like that. And then you'd sell cookies like in the fall. So
really? Like, that's weird. I've never heard of that before.
yeah, I don't think they do it anymore. But yeah, they used to sell like cans of nuts in the springtime, or I could be backwards, but one was springtime, one was fall. So you had nuts and cookies that you would sell.
Wow.
Like the Boy Scouts sell popcorn,
Wow. That's crazy.
The nuts are not getting the credit that they deserve.
No.
They had these ones. They were like toffee little squares. They were peanut toffee. Those things
Sounds
were
tasty.
amazing. Yeah.
So when Girl Scout cookies are being sold in your local area,
Yes.
do you typically buy them? Or do you at least support them? Maybe buy a box?
Yes.
8, maybe?
Oh.
Yes.
Really?
We hit up the booth sales, so like where they're outside like a grocery store or something. Back in the day when I could do it, you could go door to door and you'd knock on all the old people's doors and sell them that way. But now everyone just puts them on Facebook Marketplace. And they're like, my kid's selling Girl Scout cookies. And I'm like, okay. So if I see them out and about, I totally do. I buy them.
Have you two heard of World's Finest Chocolate?
Yes.
They are okay. This hot take alert. They're the best candy bars ever. I don't know if it's a mindset that I have because I sold them, or I was like, these are valuable. They only come around once a year, but they are so good, in my opinion. The caramel ones. And whenever I sold those candy bars, I was out of caramel ones literally within days.
Dude, that is hilarious that you say that, because I feel the same way. But the reason why I feel this way is because I remember my school would give us these boxes. It was the dumbest thing you could have possibly done to a student. To be like, hey, if you don't sell all these, like, give them back or pay for the ones you took. Well, we had these things, and I'm a kid, and I literally ate like $100 worth of World's Finest chocolate and could not make up for it in sales. And so, like, I got in trouble at my school, and like my parents had to pay for the chocolate I ate. But like eating that chocolate, I don't know what it was, if it was like the forbidden aspect of it, because I was not supposed to be eating it. My parents were like, don't eat it. Like, but I was just like, man, when I got my hands on it, I'm just like, oh.
It's the world's finest.
It is the
it's
world's
so
finest.
fine.
But I feel bad because I know there's a lot of almond lovers out there, but those almond chocolates, gross. They're disgusting.
And the interview's over. I'm out.
Are you an almond lover?
I do. I love almonds.
I like almonds, and I used to like chocolate, but I hate them together. They are disgusting.
Understandable. I love almonds. I go to Winco and I go to the bulk section and just load up on those like raw almonds, and they're raw. But you know what? They are good for you. I tell you what.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you gotten the sesame? Oh, I didn't even look at that on the ceiling.
Whoa.
I didn't even notice that was there the whole time.
Girl pool.
That's crazy. Anyway, have you seen those sesame sticks in the bulk section at Winco. You've seen them.
I've seen them.
I
Yeah.
don't think I have.
All right. If anyone gets those sesame sticks, I will pay top dollar. I will double what you paid. No, I don't do that. But they are really good. You should try them. I don't know. They're just good to me. I don't know. Like they're just sesame, like they're pretzels but made of sesame instead. But they are really good.
I will have to try some and then sell some to you. Make profit.
I'll do it. Well, $1.
This is on the record here that we're setting up a business deal. You're my first client.
Buy sesame.
You're gonna make me
sticks.
rich. I'm gonna make you full.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. We're about out of time. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? We got enough time for maybe one more good thing.
One more good thing.
Or bad thing.
Good of the order.
Good of the order. Good of the order. Huh. I don't know. I mean, you guys just cracked open a lot of Holly history. So
Honestly, I am blown away. I did not know that you were a legend.
Right.
I mean, I knew you were a legend in our subjective setting, ASL, CSE, the things you've done. You will be dearly missed while you're gone, but I want to tell you that you set us up for success, I think. I think CMAS, Tate, me, and the gang, we're gonna come out swinging when we come back, and we're gonna do big things.
I hope so.
And we're gonna make sure that you're home, taking care of that little baby of yours, and you don't have to worry about these babies for a while.
Kind of our babies.
But
There's days. There's days.
Yeah.
You know what?
I told you beforehand that Holly was really interesting. We just had to keep digging.
Right.
No, you're
we are.
interesting already, but I'm saying I knew there was a colorful past and I wanted to discover it.
Yep. I'm kind of like Shrek in that way. Like an onion, you gotta peel back the layers.
That is right.
Holly is Shrek confirmed.
Shrek, to me, is probably one of the most beautiful stories that, I'm not gonna lie, I've shed tears.
We are going to get a Shrek connoisseur on here one of these times, and we're going to have the whole discussion about Shrek.
Oh, I could talk for hours about Shrek.
So, we're about at our close now. Did you have fun, Holly?
I did have fun. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This was a joy.
Now you can't use half the stuff I told you against me. So.
Oh, we're going to.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
I know.
for sure.
I know.
You're lucky you're leaving.
I was like, I'll be gone for about 3 months. It'll be fine.
So, who do you think we should have on here?
I would think that, honestly, if you asked her, she probably would. I think President Pemberton would come talk for sure.
That would be awesome.
And I know you guys didn't want to pick him for Pie Wars or Jar Wars, but I do think Tate would be fun to talk to as well. And I'm going to tell you
I love
this
that.
because we talk about this a lot. He has some really big visions for campus. Some days we have to dial him back a bit.
I feel that.
But the things he did when he was a student here, like he was in KLCZ, he was in Pathfinder, he was ASLCSC president, he helped kind of found some of the things that are still around right now.
That's what he was telling me. I love Tate. He is an OG.
And he technically is in charge of most of the first-time students through their SD 107 classes. So we need to get him a little bit more known.
Oh, I agree. We will.
Anyone else?
I don't know if she'll do it. So Dawn Lesparens, I have learned this just because of costuming things. I think I don't know if she still can or is or anything, but she is actually a Comic-Con person.
Whoa.
Ooh,
So,
I think
Dawn
maybe,
Lesparens might be pretty fun if she'll come.
You know what? I think maybe we'll have to arrange that. And who are your top 3 right now that you want to see next time?
Me?
Yeah.
I think that it'd be cool to just interview people from all sorts of different divisions. I'm a psych nerd, as you know. So Dr. Diesner would just be so clutch. I feel like that would make for such a dank interview. Dr. Genthos would be amazing. She is one of the most, like, her lectures are just like jaw-dropping how amazing like the content is and the way that she can articulate it and explain it and make it relatable. And so like she'd be great. Dr. Parker, her experience as a clinician in psychology, she is just one of the most like incredible people I've ever met, and I just love her lectures. Like all three of those psych professor lectures are just so clutch.
I have very different ideas. I would like to see Jeff Peterson, because I love Jeff and I know that he would enjoy this, and we could have lots of fun art talk about that kind of stuff. That could be fun. I still want to talk to Dakota. I know that is a hot take, but I think that would be a lot of fun, in my opinion.
I agree.
I'm not going to say Dr. Hansen again because I think it's going to happen inevitably.
Oh, he will be here. He will be here.
He will be here. I think maybe Marlo?
I say Marlo would maybe be in one of my other ones.
I'm nervous she's going to talk to me too much about literature, and then I'm going to be like, I know, I'm into literature, but I'm not as into it as she is. So it could get stressful fast. But yeah, so that's about it. So thank you guys for tuning in to the Fireside Chat with, is it Gabe and CMAS or CMAS and Gabe?
I like CMAS and Gabe a little better. It helps kind of take some weight off my ego.
Thank
you. Holly, thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
yes,
thanks.
You were a phenomenal guest.
Good, because I was nervous. I was like, I have no idea what you guys are going to ask me.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, we had no idea what we were going to ask you either.
I'm just glad you're not asking your question about Dungeons and Dragons, because
Wow.
I wouldn't know how to answer.
Well, now,
I don't know.
Before we go, now you have to, because
No.
I asked Ian that last time.
I know.
You can just say whatever you want, and I won't even question it.
I don't even know the options.
Are you a punchy boy? Are you a swordy boy? Are you a magic-y boy? Like,
Probably magic.
I'm gonna say Holly's a sorcerer.
Sorceress.
A sorceress, yeah. It's the same. But that's what I'm gonna say. I don't know, in my opinion.
I'll say, now you know my history, so now you can like go and figure out what I am.
Oh no, you could totally be a druid then.
I
Yeah.
might take that. That I would maybe take.
All right.
Wait, hold on. Before we go, Holly, tell me this. What instrument did you play in band?
I did tenor sax for high school and college, and I did flute in middle school.
We gotta remember those two questions.
Back in the day.
Okay. I'm saying when we get this rock band thing back going, we might need to get you on a feet, get that sax going.
I will bring you a saxophone. I don't know if I can still play it.
Oh, we'll teach you. We'll teach you. I got a bari sax player and an alto sax player in my band, or he plays both, so it'd be cool to throw a tenor in there one of these days.
Yeah, bari and alto are easy to jump between because they're the same key signatures, and then tenor just messes it all up.
All right. Well,
it's crazy.
Thank
and
you.
CMS is like, and no more music. And we're out.
I know.
We're done. If we talk about music, we'll be here all day.
I know. He's not lying.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Everyone say bye.
Bye.